It's your girl Mederios Babb, and it's time for another episode of The Valley Rally. As you can see, I'm standing here at Vinland Park where there is open play right behind me. This is one of the busiest places to play. They play on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, as well as on the weekends, anywhere from 8 in the morning until noon, sometimes even far into the afternoon. Well, it's just about a mile south of Fresno State, and the city of Fresno is planning on bringing permanent courts here. I reached out to the city to see when they are going to be breaking ground, and they told me that the pickleball and futsal project is expected to start in January of 2026. They are going through the permitting phase right now, and they say if it is to go on as scheduled, that construction, again, starting in January, then they are hoping to get it finished in June of 2026 with it opening in the summer. They said that all depends, however, on the critical materials and the long lead items such as the custom shade sail. Now, over at Roeding, they have already started those permanent courts. However, they say that they are dealing with some delays. They say that the project is in the approved budget and is moving along, but they did have some unforeseen electrical work. The timeline, that means, has been adjusted. They now are not expecting to finish that project until spring of 2026. All right, moving on to our next headline. There is a massive pickleball and sports complex that is coming to San Luis Obispo County. Well, the San Luis Obispo City Council did approve the construction contract for Rigotetti Community Park, and that happened at the beginning of December. Now, they said that this is going to be a total of $13.5 million to bring this park to the Orchid Road area. Again, it's going to have a number of things, including that sports park and pickleball courts, as well as sports fields. For our final headline, the National Deaf Pickleball Association is hosting its national tournament right here in Fresno next year. That's right, starting October 8th through the 11th at the Sierra Sport and Racket Club. They are going to be hosting hundreds of deaf pickleball players for that national tournament. Now, the president of the National Deaf Pickleball Association, you might know her because she plays all the time. That's right, it's local Janice Warshaw. Now, she is also an associate professor in the Communicative Sciences and Deaf Studies for Fresno State. Now, also with her is Farley Warshaw, who is the tournament director. I was able to catch up with them back at the Classic that happened at Sierra Sport and Racket Club about the plans for the tournament and the help that they need from you guys at home.
We are going to be hosting the 6th annual national tournament here in Fresno. We started in 2021 with our first national tournament. We had 80 players at that time. It has now grown every year, and we just had 430 players at our most recent tournament. So we are continuing to grow, and we're hoping to see maybe 500 players here in Fresno. It will be all deaf players from throughout the United States coming here to Fresno for this tournament, and they will be sharing the experience with the deaf community here in Fresno. We have a shared language, we have shared friendships, and we share that competition as well. This is a beautiful place, beautiful facility. And for deaf people, it's especially beautiful because it's such an open space, and deaf people depend on that visual access for communication, and everything is so easily visible here. So we're excited to come.
You know, Janice, you and I have talked before about how important it is to make sure that the deaf community feels accepted, especially in pickleball and the work that you have done. What does this mean to you to be able to bring this to Fresno?
I think it's important that the non-deaf community sees that we deaf people can play pickleball just like them. The only difference is how the communication goes, but we play the same. Today was the first time that I've been able to play here with 3 other deaf players in this tournament. I feel like I have been the only deaf person for the last 4 years or so, so I'm thrilled to have other deaf people joining in this tournament. It's a wonderful experience. It's also good for other deaf people from different towns throughout California to see that Fresno is not In the dark ages, it's not a nothing town. We are full of life. We have pickleball. We have people here who are playing, and it's good to see what Fresno can offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And for people that do not know at home, we are here at the California Pickleball Classic, where there has been 265 players that are competing, you know, from a number of different divisions. And so it's great to see that representation here. Just in general, take us through how you guys first found out about pickleball and what it's been like to compete.
Okay, I'll share kind of a funny story about that. Back in 2021, I would say January or February of that year, I had a deaf friend from Connecticut who came here to give a talk at Fresno State. And at that time, he asked me if I wanted to go play pickleball with him. And I was like, I don't even know what pickleball is. And he said, never mind, I'll just play with the hearing people. And this was a deaf individual. And so that led me to be a little curious about pickleball. And I wanted to know what it was. I decided to give it a try. So I went over to Orchid Park, and I didn't know anybody at the time. When I parked my car there that first day, I was ready to text some people. I had talked to Deb Peterson, and I typed out a little message to her and said, you know, I'm deaf, but I am an athlete. I just need to learn the rules of pickleball. And she was very welcoming. There were already 11 other players who were learning together, so I became number 12. And after 2 weeks, Deb told me I was ready to move to the advanced challenge court. And I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. And she said, nope, you're a quick steady, come on. And so that's where I joined, and I kind of learned through the School of Hard Knocks a little bit, but worked my way up. And I'm really proud and happy to be where I am now.
Yeah.
For me, I started back in 2017 down south in Riverside, California, but kind of the same thing. When I first went, I didn't even know what pickleball was, and I saw these rackets moving, and it took me a while to understand the rules of the game. But just like Janice said, we kind of learned through the School of Hard Knocks, and we learned on the way. During COVID 2020, 2021, I was playing prior to that, and I continue playing 3 to 4 times a week. It's just one of the things that I've done for the past several years.
How many tournaments have you guys played in, and how many different medals do you think that you have gotten? We'll speak of 2 different tournaments. So I've played with non-deaf people, maybe 25 different tournaments. As far as deaf tournaments, we have an annual event, and that's been something I've been a part of for the last 5 years. I do have 28 medals total. Some gold, some silver, some bronze, but I would say mostly gold and silver, maybe a few bronze in there somewhere, 5 or so. I have lost count of the medals that I have. I've won many medals, and I yet don't keep track. I've played in a lot of different tournaments, especially in Southern California. A lot of deaf tournaments. The first deaf tournament that I played in was in San Diego, California, and I'm one of the organizers of that when we just had those 80 players. The second year, we were up to 180 players. Third year, we were at 230. Fourth year, we hit 390. Wow.
And then this last maybe month, it was over 400. It's grown, and as we have more deaf pickleball players, we are growing in the pickleball community, just like the non-deaf community is growing. And we need more people with experience. We need more people from tournaments to play with non-deaf people, like Janice says she has done. And I've learned a lot from playing with people who are not deaf. And I think we can learn from each other as well as people in the other community.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you think pickleball is going in the future?
I firmly believe that pickleball is here to stay and will be around forever. As you know, there are a lot of pro tennis players who retire and then transition into pickleball. And I think that's a good indication that we are a long-lasting sport. Not only that, but remember that pickleball is for players of all ages, and that's not something you see in other sports. Most other sports, by the time you're hit your 40s or so, you're kind of done, but pickleball is for every age, every person. I am 71 years old and I'm playing with 30-year-olds. I'm playing with 12-year-olds who can beat me, and it's fine. It's fun to play no matter the age, and I'm happy that the deaf community feels that way and that we see that every age is welcome, no matter the skill of the player.
And did you guys have a sports background? I believe you played volleyball, right, Janice? Take us through that a little bit.
I did. I was on the deaf volleyball Olympic team. Prior to that, I played a variety of sports just for enjoyment. I learned tennis starting at the age of 8, so pickleball came from that tennis foundation, which I think helped me a lot. Yes, in volleyball, we're running all over the court very quickly. I feel like I already had that good foundation from the different sports that I played that led nicely into pickleball. I would say pickleball, golf, tennis, and cycling, road cycling, are my sports of choice and things that I've been involved with for quite a while. I used to be a table tennis player. I also played some volleyball, but you know, same as everybody else. Got a little bit of everything.
What's your message to people that are, you know, watching this at home? What do you want them to know?
I think number one is be sensitive to deaf players as far as the communication goes. Often people don't know how to interact with the deaf players. And I will explain to them, you know, here's what the numbers look like on your hands so that you can do the score and we can keep up with that information. It just takes patience, and sometimes people who aren't deaf don't have that patience, but learn and understand that communication. And because we don't hear yells to stop or timeout or whatever, it's good that we have those hand signals that we can teach to the non-deaf players so that they know our needs and communicate with us. I do want to commend a couple of deaf individuals who live in, well, one is in Austin, Texas, and the other just moved to Florida. The two of them developed a nonprofit organization for deaf pickleball players, the Deaf Pickleball Association, and its purpose is to teach non-deaf people how to play with deaf people. And they have created wonderful posters that show numbers and protocol and how to interact with deaf players, which is fabulous. We will be sending out their information, and I will give you their link, hopefully, and that will get some more information out to the public about how to communicate with deaf players.
Yeah, and for our podcast, we will put that online as well for those who do need it. You know, tell us your funniest pickleball story, right? What's the funniest story that you have through your pickleball career?
Okay. I would have to say, when I first learned to play pickleball over at Orchid Park, Deb came up to me one day and said, you know what, you have been playing for almost a month now, but you still look like Casper the Friendly Ghost, because I was so pale, even after being outside for that long. So I told her, okay, I need to prove my worth. So I was playing every day, got a little bit of a tan, and I would show her my arm every day just to make sure that I was getting tan like she expected. For me, when I play in the tournament with, I played with a partner who was about 45 years old, and we were playing in the 50 and under tournament. And that day, we were playing really well. We won a medal, and that person came up to me and said, how old are you? I said, 71. And they said, okay, well, wow. No, I don't think so. I don't think you are, because you're playing so well. And I said, nope. I can play well enough to hang with the under 50 crowd.
I love that. Do you have a favorite pickleball shot, and are you a banger or a dinker?
My favorite is the soft dinks, I would have to say. The ones that just barely go over the net. And I don't want to be, I know that there are some other people who can do the really sharp, just barely over the net, but mine really soft over the net. I'm kind of over the banger thing. I would like to advance my more skills with the dinks. I think I'm a mix. I started playing with more control. More control than power, I think, is my skill. I think power is for the younger people. And I look at them and say, oh, 5 years ago, there were so many young players, and now I need to play smarter, not harder. I need to have more control in my game. So that's my goal. At 71, I can't be a banger like those 30-year-olds.
I love that. How can people follow your guys' careers going forward? Do you post to social media? And tell us what you do outside of pickleball, right? Because we all have a life outside of pickleball.
So what you said about pickleball first, we do have a Deaf Pickleball USA website. It is www.deafpickleballusa.com. And you can see all the information that we have there. And as far as my life outside of pickleball, you know, it's really nothing but pickleball. I play pickleball 3-4 times a week. I play once or twice a month in tournaments. I also play golf once a week. I cycle twice a week because I need to exercise, good things for my heart, you know? So a lot of exercise, but pickleball is always first and foremost, always on my calendar.
Anything else that you guys want to add?
I'm looking forward to the Fresno community, and I know that there are a lot of really good-hearted people here. I look forward to everyone being involved in helping us with the tournament next year. I'm sure we are going to need a lot of volunteer help, because if we end up with 400 to 500 players here, with you know, the Fresno community could be another 300 people. So a lot of people. It'd be nice to see the community come together and help us out. And I want to add to make this event happen and to make it successful, we need sponsorships. We are looking for sponsorships to help our tournament be successful, because there are a lot of costs involved. So we're looking for community and business support here in the Central Valley. It'd be great to have that local support.
Absolutely. And does it mean a lot also to you? I mean, growing up, did there ever feel like there was a divide, or times where you were worried about doing certain things because of the difficulty with communication? And what's your message to people at home that maybe are deaf and a little bit scared about coming out because, you know, there is that communication barrier?
I'll use myself as an example. I was assertive enough to go to a place like Orchid Park, use my iPhone to type out a message on an app and show it to somebody. And then that way too, a non-deaf person can talk and Siri can type that out for me. So I would encourage deaf people to take advantage of this great technology that we have available to us that 10, 15, 20 years ago, we did not have available to us. We're so lucky to be living in the times that we are now, that we can communicate with non-deaf or hearing people pretty easily through apps and technology. Today, I think more people are aware of the deaf community compared to 20 years ago. It feels like we live in we felt before that we lived in two separate worlds, but I think now there's so much more understanding about deaf people, so much more exposure to deaf people through media, films, TV, plays, things like that, and that helps us, I think. When I tell people I'm deaf, most often their response is like, great, okay, let's make this work. Not like 20 years ago when they just kind of stood there and didn't know what to do or how to communicate with me. I think there's definitely a greater comfort level between deaf people and people who are not deaf these days. Right? For example, you, right? That's a great example.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. Do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, I asked for your submissions, and now it's time for one of my favorite segments, Babb's Best Shot. This week we are featuring a shot from Braden Brooks, who actually was able to win the open division for the California Classic that happened just a couple of months ago. He's a great player out of Arizona and had this amazing shot. Let's take a look. And for you at home, if you would like to be featured as part of Babb's Best Shots, all you have to do is direct message me on Instagram, my personal account, @Mederios Babb, or @Central Valley Rally. We'll see you next week.